If you're transitioning from being an employee to being your own boss, being an entrepreneur, this video is for you. I'm Sylvie McCracken from sylviemccracken.com and the creator of Create Passive Income with eBooks. And I just want to touch on this topic, whether you are transitioning now from being a full-time employee to being a full-time entrepreneur, or it's something that is in the goal for the near future, or it's something that you've recently done and you're a little bit struggling with this 9-to-5 detox, I like to call it. These tips will really help you. So a couple of things that you have to do is just change your mindset a little bit on some of these things. So when we're an employee, we're used to being able to, we have this structure where we have to get to this job at a certain time. We have to be there to a certain time, whether or not things are crazy busy or things are a little bit slower. We just kind of have to be there and warm that chair a lot of the times. And it's really hard to get out of that mentality. And when you're your own boss, it's like, oh, well, what am I going to do? What am I going to start with? Some days you have really productive days, some days you have less productive days. And if you haven't seen my video on productivity, I'm going to link to that below because I think that one is a really good one and foundational for this video as well, to figure out which ways are going to support your productivity best. So go ahead and watch that one if you haven't already. But a few of the things I want you to keep in mind when you're transitioning to be an entrepreneur is that you're going to have to prioritize. Now, there's a book I really love about this called Essentialism, and one of the things he says is that priorities shouldn't even be a plural word. It should be priority, right? We should have one priority. And he's pretty ruthless about talking about what's essential and what isn't, and how to achieve a little bit closer to just doing the things that are essential to move you forward towards your goals. So that's something that as an employee, we're not used to doing because we kind of have to fill that time. And sometimes we don't have a lot of say in what we need to get done and whether it makes sense or not, or whether there's a more efficient way to do it. And so that's not something we're used to thinking about. So that's something you have to keep in mind, is just to step back from your business, look at what you're doing, and not give yourself another job. That's why you quit your job in the first place, is to not have a job and be your own boss. So be able to look at your to-do list and be like, what part of this is important, and what parts of this should I either get someone else to do or ignore altogether that aren't really that important. So that's a really important thing. The second thing that you should do is to rest. Now, this is a little unconventional because we're talking about productivity, and shouldn't we be talking about go and work more and work harder and faster? But the truth is that in those periods of rest is where you get your best ideas and where your creativity has a chance to spark. And that's not something we're used to either. Like in the middle of the week, to maybe sit down by the pool with a notebook and really just strategize. So that's something that you should work into your business plan and your schedule, is some time to rest. You don't need to go 24/7. And if you've been building your business on your evenings and weekends like I did, that's even harder because now you've been working perhaps 60 or 80 hours a week. And all of a sudden, when you quit your full-time day job and you're a full-time entrepreneur, you're just used to revving at that high rate. It's not necessary, number one. And number two, it's not actually that, conducive to brilliance, really. Because when you're tired, you're not doing your best work. So slow it down and just focus on what's important. The third thing I want you to focus on is when and how you do your best work. So this has taken me a while to figure out, and I feel like I'm still figuring it out. So do you need quiet time? Do you need a quiet space where you can do your work? Do you work best if you are at a cafe where it's bustling and noisy and there are other people? Do you work best in the early mornings? Do you work best in the evenings? Do you work best, on video or in written form? Just focus on what your skills and talents and desires are and do more of that. And don't force yourself to do the things that you're terrible at. So I hear from entrepreneurs all the time that are saying, oh, I should be doing this and that and the other, and they don't want to do it. Then why? Why are you doing that? So that's the other thing. That leads me to point number 4, which is value your time. So I'm a big fan of outsourcing. If you've been reading my blogs and watching my videos, you'll know that this is something that comes up a lot for me because I think that it's essential for you not to do everything yourself. for many reasons, and I will link to the videos below on outsourcing. I won't get too far into that in this video, but you need to understand that you are the CEO of this new business, even if it's just yourself for now. And you need to value your time and know, what it's worth. If you want, put a dollar amount on it just to have as a mental note. And anything that you can outsource for less than that, you should not be doing yourself. So those are the 4 things I want to leave you with today. I would love to hear from you if you have any more tips or any more questions on the topic of transitioning from employee to entrepreneur. Please leave a comment below and I will see you there.